iTeammate and an Indianapolis group that wants the state to put the brakes on a downtown highway project.
This group says that they have a better plan that would reshape the city. iTeammate's Richard Essex has the story.
A private group called Rethink 6570 believes that NDOT should take a different approach when rebuilding the interstate on the south side of Indianapolis.
It was a vibrant neighborhood. It was a mixture of German immigrants, blacks, and everybody got along.
Vincent Darden has lived most of his life in the old South Side neighborhood. He remembers the area when all the north-south streets like Church, Charles, Pennsylvania, and a half dozen others ran uninterrupted through the city. Interstate 70 was built in the early 1970s when elevated interstates were all the fashion. The construction cut several neighborhoods right in half and took more than 200 homes.
It destroyed the neighborhood. It didn't disconnect it. It just broke up everything.
For the first time in a generation, the state is making plans to redo the interstate. And before the state has a chance to make their plans concrete, the Rethink 6570 group wants a seat at the table, particularly after the North Split construction lifted the interstate even higher from the ground. Brenda Friege is the president of the group, and she has helped marshal a study funded by the Lilly Endowment that says moving the interstate below the existing street level is feasible.
Basically what happens is you can reconnect boulevards over the top, and then you can actually build what's called caps and stitches, which I don't know a whole lot about the technology of that, but it's pretty common. And you can build parks, you can have buildings over the tops of the highway. And that then really brings the neighborhoods back together. So they no longer have an elevated highway as a wall. They can just walk across, and the bridges themselves become connecting points.
Then there's the question of cost. Yes, moving the interstate lower is more expensive, about 25% more expensive than the current $2.3 billion estimate laid out by the state. However, the city of Indianapolis is partnering with Rethink 6570 for a federal grant to further study the redesign of the interstate.
Yes, this has to be a collaborative effort between the city, the community, and the state, because all of those parties have interests, and the state has ownership rights in the interstate.
There is another piece to this concrete puzzle. The federal government can attach design requirements to funding. The Department of Transportation is leaning towards projects that have a positive environmental and societal impacts, which the Rethink 6570 group says their approach aligns with. Darden hopes that moving the elevated interstate would bring people back to the neighborhood.
It would be nice to have families around here again.
If the federal grant is awarded for additional studies, the reconstruction of the southern portion of the loop would not begin until at least 2024 or later. In Indianapolis, Richard Essex, Wish TV, iTeammate.